Have you ever just been going about your daily life, minding your own business, when you hear someone use the idiom, "That's like comparing apples to oranges"? Well, if you ask me, that's a load of bullshit. If you really think about it, apples and oranges are really similar. So it's never made sense to me. But today, in this video, I'm going to be proving the similarities of apples and oranges outweigh the differences. But first, I'm going to have to get a little scientific.
A few moments later.
Alright. That is much better. From a taxonomic point of view, they're both very similar. They're both eukaryotic, plantae, magnolipicidae, rosae. That's definitely not rosae. The first time that we see a difference is when we get to order, with apples being rosales and oranges being sapindalis. Sapindales? This. Oranges are this. Another comparison we can see is that they're both considered simple fleshy fruits, just that apples are palms and oranges are hesperidiums. When looking at quantitative similarities, we can also only see comparisons. They're both aromatic, spherical, seeded fruits that grow on trees, can be eaten, and commonly turned into juices. And while we're on the topic of eating, they can both be eaten with their outside rind still on, as long as you're not a bitch. If we look at where they originate from, oranges are considered to have come from India, whereas apples are said to come from Central Asia. But if we look at this map right here, India seems pretty close to the center of Asia, so I'm going to count this as another similarity for me. No need to do any extra research into it, just trust me. I'm also going to chalk up the color as being a similarity. Even though green apples technically exist, I've never met someone who actually likes a Granny Smith, and an orange is just a mix of a red and a yellow. Therefore, on top of all of this, both turn into different words when said with a hooked mouth. Orange becomes orange, and apple becomes something that will get you demonetized on YouTube. One of the points that I've found that is supposedly a difference between apples and oranges is that an apple a day can apparently keep a doctor away, but I find that any fruit works if you throw it hard enough. Now, if we look at my very official source here, BMJ, we can see that the circumference of the average apple is 25.6 centimeters versus the average circumference of an orange being 24.4. This is like just a centimeter difference pretty much. That seems pretty close to me. Also, for mass, an apple has an average of 340 grams, whereas an orange has an average mass of 357 grams. And those are also really close. My next very properly cited source here is called Differin, and Differin claims that both apples and oranges contain iron, calcium, vitamin C, phosphorus, potassium, fiber, and vitamin A, and on top of that have similar values for their iron, fiber, calories, carbs, vitamin B1. That's a lot of similarities. Now, I do have some experts in the field that are onto a lead that maybe this isn't about comparing actual apples to oranges, but is actually a relation to the apples to apples card game, which is basically if Disney made Cards Against Humanity. But I am onto a different theory. See, I don't know if tangerines are technically oranges, and I'm too lazy to look it up at this point, but what if they're looking at Tangerine the Canadian bank versus Apple, the massive international computer making company? Tangerine is a bank from Canada that was founded in 1997 and has just around 1,000 employees. And would you believe it or not, all their marketing is the color orange. Now, Apple, on the other hand, is an American-based computer making company that was founded in the 70s with over 100,000 employees that's worth $1.3 trillion and is run by a guy named Tim Apple. But Even this theory falls flat when you realize that Tangerine has a banking app on iOS, which is made by Apple. Therefore, the comparison's still there. Now, if you ask me, apples and oranges actually have more in common than oranges and the color orange. And to back this up, I have a Venn diagram that will prove my point. Here we can see that apples, not a lot of stuff on the left side. Oranges, even less stuff on the right side. But combined, that's a lot of stuff. So, in conclusion, I have undisputable, quantifiable, unequatable proof that apples and oranges are the exact same thing. And everyone who says otherwise is either daft or a liar. Now, I think that if we should be comparing comparisons about comparing things with other comparisons, we should go with two things that are much less comparable. So I propose we go with either gingers to seaweed. That's like comparing quantum physics with a turtle's kneecap. Or Jeffrey Epstein with a suicidal person. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you like it and you want to see more, there's a little subscribe button with the bell down there. Leave a rating. Any feedback, put it in the comments. Maybe check out another video. Have a great day, and deuces.